Hi, I'm Amberly Forrester, and welcome to Module 4 of Blooming with Intention. In this module, we are going to explore meaning and purpose. The title of this module is You Matter, because you do. You matter. You have a purpose, you have an impact to make while you're here on this planet, and there is meaning that comes from all of what you do. We just have to be intentional about finding out what that is. So, I'm going to open with a quote. If your life were a book and you were the author, how would you want your story to go? I'm asking you that question because I believe it really guides you to be intentional about thinking about the choices and decisions that you make. And so, in this module, our lessons are going to focus around uncovering our purpose by discovering meaning in what it is that we do. We're going to start with looking at the what of purpose. What is purpose as we define purpose and what it means as a noun and as a verb? And then we're going to go into the why of purpose, which really brings out the power of purpose. Next, we'll move into discovering meaning and looking again at what the things are that we're doing with our lives and what's happened to us and what do we want and what's the meaning behind that? What values do we have and how can that lead us into uncovering our purpose? When we talk about discovering meaning, we'll talk about trauma and how purpose and meaning can come from the positive things and the negative things that happen in our lives. We'll talk about spirituality and how that can also lead us to finding meaning in our lives. We'll move into uncovering purpose and we'll talk about passion and the other parts of purpose and how recognizing these individual parts, breaking purpose down into its individual parts can help us get clarity on the larger idea of what is our purpose. And lastly, we're going to talk about purpose in action. And that's when we really get into making a difference and impact and how we matter. All right, so good stuff. Purpose can be a bit intimidating, but we're going to break it down. We're going to get some clarity. We're going to get some self-awareness, and we're going to jump into this. So let's get started. Hi, welcome back to Module 4 of Blooming with Intention. And this is our first lesson, jumping into the what. What is purpose? You were specially crafted to make a difference in your own special way and in the world around you. There is not one person on this planet who can do what you're put here to do. Your strengths, your skills, the things that bring you joy and excitement, the things that matter to you, all exist to guide you to the highest and best version of yourself. May you think, live, and walk with intention along your journey and enjoy the ride. This module is titled You Matter because you do. You are here to matter. We've talked about vision, we've talked about character and identity and how they can lead us on this path of discovery and self-awareness. You understand some of the key components of answering the question, who am I? And now we're going to explore another fundamental question in life, and that is, why am I here? Quite simply, the answer is because you matter. What you think matters, how you feel matters, what you say matters, how you treat others matters, how you treat yourself matters, what you do matters. You are here on this earth to find meaning, to discover your passions, to uncover your purpose, and to make a difference. So what impact are you going to make? So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the what of purpose, but in the lessons that follow, we'll be talking about the power of purpose and finding our why. We're going to talk about making meaning out of the bad and the good things that happen to us. We'll talk about how trauma can lead us to post-traumatic growth and how meaning can derive from the thoughts, habits, and rituals that we experience as a part of our spirituality. We'll get into the ways you can uncover your purpose and how you can use your passions to put your purpose into action, serve the world, and matter. So let's jump in. Think of the most successful people you know or know of. What do they have in common? They may have achieved success in different ways, but I bet one thing they have in common is that they're passionate about something. Passion and purpose motivate us to keep going and keep growing, and ultimately to be happy and feel good about achieving what we set out to accomplish. Each and every one of our lives has a purpose. Our purpose connects us to something larger than ourselves. We'll often hear people say that they need to find their purpose. But what does this even mean? What is purpose? So we can look at purpose as a noun or a verb. I'm going to start with the definition of purpose as a noun, but what I really love is when we look at purpose as a verb, not just what it is, but what we do. So as a noun, purpose is defined as the reason for which something exists or is done, made, or used. It's also an intended or a desired result, an end, an aim, a goal. Purpose can be looked at as a noun as determination or resoluteness. But let's look at purpose from a different perspective, and let's look at your purpose as a verb. When we look at purpose as a verb, it becomes about the actions that we take. The definition of purpose as a verb, the functional model of purpose, is to set as an aim, intention, or goal for oneself, to intend, to design, to resolve to do something. So if I look at myself as a teacher in the sense of a verb, I'm here to give you tools. I'm here to inspire you with new ways, new solutions for old problems. I'm here to give you social and emotional tools to use in your teaching or in your parenting or for yourselves. See the difference? There's the action and then there's the noun. There's the verb and the noun when we look at purpose. There are many well-lived and wise people who will tell you that living a purpose-driven life is the key to sustainable happiness and fulfillment. According to researchers, purpose is a stable and generalizable intention to accomplish something that is at once meaningful to the self and leads to the productive engagement with some aspect of the world beyond the self. So as I mentioned earlier, your purpose is how you impact the world. It's how you matter. Like many, you may not know your purpose yet, but let's give this some thought. I'd like to take some time next to explore what purpose is. So 1, purpose is intrinsic, not extrinsic. Although our purpose may be influenced by things that happen outside of us or inspiration that we receive from things that are outside of us, our purpose really comes from within. In order to uncover purpose, we have to go inwards. 2, purpose is a process. And in order to arrive at our purpose, we have to do what makes us happy, follow our bliss. For some, that's inspiring. For others, it's confusing. But when we look at purpose as a process that is evolving and ever-changing, it takes a little bit of the pressure off. We don't arrive at this point in life where we say, I know my purpose, and that's our purpose forever, and that's just what it is and what it's going to be. Our purpose changes as we do. Our purpose when we were younger is different than our purpose when we are older and more established. But ultimately, our purpose is fulfilling. It brings us deeper happiness. Even exploring our purpose can bring us to deeper curiosity and into being more intentional with our lives. Purpose is a yearning to matter. Our purpose is something that can be referred to as our calling, what we're called to do, the reason that we are here. Inherently, we are all here to matter and to make a difference. There's a quote by positive psychologist Todd Caston, and he says, purpose is that thing that if someone doesn't know this about you, they don't know who you are as a person. Purpose is that thing that is so baked into who you are through your skills, through your strengths, through the way that you show up, through your underlying energy that you bring into a situation. Purpose is your roadmap to success. When you are clearer about your purpose, about your reason for being, your why, you know when your opportunities are aligned with your bigger picture. Our purpose is like our big picture. We know that I'm here to influence, or I'm here to impact, I'm here to help people. And so we can ask ourselves along our journey, am I doing things that are aligned with my larger purpose? So in that way, purpose can serve as our roadmap. But finding our purpose is not always so easy. A lot of times people get what psychologists refer to as purpose anxiety. In an article from Healthline.com, educator, writer, and psychologist in training Elaine Mead explores purpose anxiety. She says, while finding your purpose can be beneficial, further research is pointing to the downside of all of this searching. with something psychologists are referring to as purpose anxiety. I love what one of my mentors says about purpose, Amelia from the Flourishing Center. She likes to say that we uncover purpose, we don't find purpose, because when we look at purpose as having to find it, it means that something is missing, and this can go to bring about that anxiety. But when we go to uncover purpose, we take these little steps in self-awareness and recognizing what excites us and recognizing how we can show up and bring value and impact. And we take these little steps to uncovering what that looks like. It's a journey. As I mentioned, purpose is a process, and it's not something that just comes overnight. It's something we have to be very intentional about uncovering. Purpose anxiety can be experienced on a spectrum, ranging from mild to moderate to severe. It can encompass a range of negative emotions, including stress, worry, frustration, fear, as well as anxiety. In her research on the concept, Rainey found that a whopping 91% of participants surveyed reported experience purpose anxiety at some point in their lives. So if you're experiencing purpose anxiety, you are not alone. Here are some signs and reasons why someone may be experiencing purpose anxiety. Without purpose, people often feel lost, stuck, depressed about their past, or anxious about their future. This can be a sign that someone is experiencing purpose anxiety. You may experience purpose anxiety if your basic needs are not met. Let's think back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When people have their basic needs met, then they can start to move towards uncovering their purpose. But if you don't have food on the table, if you are not sure where your next check is coming from, if you're just struggling to survive, you're often more focused on living, on staying alive, on getting your basic needs fulfilled, and you don't have the mental space or time to focus on higher level thinking, like what is my purpose? And so if you are working in an environment where you recognize that the basic needs are not met of the people who are around you, they may not be at a place where they can uncover their purpose yet. It's very important that our basic needs be met before we can start to transcend and explore concepts like purpose. Another way that we may be suffering from purpose anxiety is if we're comparing ourselves to others and looking outside of us for our purpose. As I mentioned earlier, it's very important to reflect inwards, not outwards. Comparing ourselves to others can lead us to look at their lives and how successful they are and what they've done to achieve their goals and to become successful. But that's not always what's going to give us clarity around our purpose. That can be an inspiration. However, we, as we'll discover in the upcoming lessons, have to look within, have to look at our own strengths, our own skills, our own passions, and the things that we can bring to the world. And that cannot be compared with someone else, quite frankly. We all have our own magic. If you don't feel good enough or feel like a failure, you're likely experiencing purpose anxiety. Not feeling good enough, feeling like you're just not quite sure what you're here for, feeling like you have failed everything that you've set out to accomplish can really make you more pessimistic in looking at your future. What we know about people who are more purpose-driven is that they're more optimistic. And so if you're feeling that way, I really, really want to encourage you to go back and watch the last module on character strengths, because I tell you, you may not be good at everything, but you're good at something, and your character strengths will help guide you to what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be doing what everybody else is doing. That makes you feel like you're not good enough. You're supposed to be doing what's good for you. You're supposed to be doing what naturally feels right for you and makes use of your skills. If you're not taking the time to acknowledge your strengths, your skills, and your accomplishments and what you have to offer the world, that's why you're not feeling good enough. But I guarantee you that you have something to offer. Lastly, if you're spending too much time worrying you'll never find your purpose, then you're not going to find your purpose. I always love to say, focus on what you want, not on what you don't want, right? And so we don't want to spend too much time focusing on not having our purpose. We want to focus on uncovering, on self-awareness, and on really getting familiar with who we are. If you are having purpose anxiety, it can really hamper your well-being, your fulfillment, happiness, and your success. So we're going to explore and work to understand why purpose is important and how you can uncover your purpose by becoming more self-aware and intentional with your decisions. This is your invitation to go within and explore what matters to you and how you can serve the world around you in a positive way. Start small. When we're young, we don't always think of our purpose, but as we get older and more concerned about our future, we often start to wonder, what's my why, my reason for being? Why do I even exist? I'll tell you that the real magic happens when we get intentional about living in our purpose. It's a process. We're going to do some exploratory work together, but first, let's learn the why behind our big why.